Very good afternoon to everybody. And thank you, Dr. Bijan, for giving me this opportunity to share my perspective today on Metabolomics India 2024. And well, throughout the whole day, we have listened to so many insightful scientific contributions from different eminent researchers all over the world in the field of metabolomics. My session would be on a little different tangent. I will basically share some perspectives and my experiences with you on how to advance your metabolomics research impact using a strategic communication approach. Well, to give you a one-liner, basically, I would give you some perspectives that I have gathered through the years, basically how to create a story out of your research work. Now, if we see metabolomics as a market today in the present times, metabolomics market is an extremely growing market. And if you can, the resource that I've taken, the information that it is a growing market, almost 13.1 CAGR with a full forecast period of 2025 to 37. So what does this mean? This means that increased adoption of the science of metabolomics has happened over the years, and it is already happening, and it is going advancements of diagnostics to determine chronic diseases and other addressing global challenges. Now, having said that, how will we as scientists or even industry, how will we take this information to the wider audience? When I say wider audience, it includes everybody, not only layman, public, non-scientific people, but also scientific people. For example, today we heard so many lectures. So there were technical information shared, and it is well taken because probably all those who have gathered here today, we are aware of this field. Now, if you ask me, you as a scientist, when you explain your research to me, I'm from a healthcare background. I do have some kind of interest in metabolomics. So I have a little understanding of that field. That's very good. But probably my fellow mates will not have that. But the potential of this field is so big. And the research, the fantastic things that are happening, I personally believe that bringing research from the lab to the world is a very important aspect, and it needs to be done. So when it comes to actually transformative potential of any scientific field that way, if you see that it can be realized only when the research is communicated effectively and it reaches the right audience. Now, when we are doing our research, we are publishing, of course, that is the most important cornerstone that we need to do. But when it comes to visibility of this science, it is almost like we are locking our fantastic work in a digital locker in the... So today, I will share some simple things with you which will help you to narrate your own story. And I will also tell you why. So if you see in the field, like I am trying to give you a perspective here, not in terms of how to publish a good paper, but going beyond the publication and creating a real impact. That if I can just summarize and take the two most important weakness that we have when it comes to communicating science and a fantastic field of metabolomics, field like metabolomics, of course, there is a visibility gap. To be very honest with you, I think a couple of years back, I myself was not aware much about metabolomics. I might have heard the terms here and there. And when I actually attended Metabolomics India before, when it started as a participant, it just blew my mind because I was thinking, oh my God, so much work is happening and I had no idea. So the limited dissemination, because when we are doing the research, we are coming up in symposium like this, which is a very good platform to share our knowledge, of course, in a limited circle. And I have seen some information on the internet that most of the papers which are kind of published in terms of metabolomics or any other field, I'm talking about metabolomics here, the citation rate is, more than 50% of publications are poorly cited. Now, when I say this, it might be a bold statement, but I am not trying to say that those publications or work is of low quality. It is more about not that work, that fantastic work is not reaching out where people are searching maybe. So in this field, we have a lot of opportunities, which is interesting at this point, like we can change the industry by creating practical applications. And we have seen a lot of things that is happening. We have seen so many sessions today, and we know that how this field is going ahead. So if I have to take these weaknesses up and try to, minimize the underutilization of research information, only one thing comes in picture, that is strategic communication. So I will share a simple framework to maybe by this we can solve a basic problem, an important problem, that is addressing the gap between publishing and impact. This strategic communication framework has 4 steps. Simple thing: start, showcase, tie, and end. So I will take a general concept and I will try to explain each step to you. I take a general concept because sometimes when it comes to research, it is not always that we are doing translational research. It is also sometimes we do very core basic science research. But I have taken the example and created this strategy in a way that if it is a translational research, but this framework fits anywhere in any kind of research communication when you're trying to talk about your research. So there's one simple thing here. We need to build a research narrative. That is the critical step and the only step. And storytelling is the core technique. So now I will take you step by step. So for example, the first step is start. So start with a clear problem. So for example, you are defining a challenge. Of course, it is your research objective maybe. So let's take an example like some research out there is searching metabolomic biomarkers for cancer detection. Now, this is a pressing issue. And then how do I add context? Through that researchers' data, we can create relatable stories. And of course, we need to focus on the relevance and tell people why this problem matters to you. Because if I'm talking to a layman, my perspective of communication would be different. If I'm talking to another scientific community who comes with a very, very robust kind of knowledge, but not metabolomics, then I have to tell something different way. The same thing, I have to communicate in 3 different ways if I'm addressing 3 different groups of people. And suppose if it is a clinician or healthcare or a doctor where you want to actually tell that this is a very good thing that I am doing, it will help you. So you can understand, right? So the 3 different approaches for the same is B. We need to explain the why and connect our work to the identified channel and highlight our findings in a way that we can share our results absolutely in a simple way, in a jargon-free language when it comes to communication. I'm stressing on that part actually. So this will help us to bridge and demonstrate that how our research translates into real-world solutions. Going to the 3rd step, that is tie to a global impact. Well, so can you show a bigger picture where your results or your research can definitely have an impact to a global challenge? For example, does this particular researcher who is finding out metabolomic biomarkers for cancer detection, can this be a way to advance personalized medicine that way? And then another important aspect we often tend to miss, not purposefully, that as a researcher, I know how important this work is. But what is the specific thing that would help our industry or where is the application part? So we need to stress on that. So basically, this is the third step where you are trying to show a greater, bigger impact of your research work. And of course, the fourth step is to end with a vision and action, because this is the thing where it will call for partnerships, or if you are trying to raise funds for your further research, or probably you are trying to start your own product at some point. So then people who have financial interests come with a financial interest in your work, they might not be from your field. So we need to actually show a big picture in front of them so that it helps. Like, for example, we started with the simple example that a researcher is finding out metabolomic biomarkers for cancer detection. So if I would be that person, I try to end this communication telling that, these biomarkers are very good because we can develop simple tests and we can do early detection of cancer. Well, I am presenting to you in a very simplistic way, but these are the 4 core pillars of strategic communication which you can use very nicely and create a story out of your own research. Now, strategic communication is not just writing something on the space. It has a lot of benefit and at every level. So if I consider this as individual researcher level, organization level, society level, particularly to make it simple, like you might ask me, Gargi, why should I even do that? I am doing such kind of research. I'm publishing. What's the need to speak so much about it? I can post the link of the paper on LinkedIn, or probably just share it with some few people who might be interested. But see, we need to see a broader picture. And here, let me tell you that benefits in several levels. So if you are an individual researcher, it actually helps to build your personal brand, which is very important, whoever we are at this point of time, the era we are living in. Again, it enhances the visibility not of your own self, but also about your work. And definitely it builds a professional reputation, particularly if I take this level to students who are PhD students, who are postdoc, and you are looking forward to carry forward or advance your career in the field that you are working. So these things, if you start communicating your science, if you start communicating about your work, you already show people that you are an expert in this field. So when you apply to some positions, people find people. So when they come and look on for you on any platform, of course, you will stand out compared to any other. Maybe other people are much better than you as an applicant, but of course, if you have a strong presence, you will stand out to them. The first thing comes with communication, I will say, is trust and credibility. Coming to organizational level, of course, when it is companies, when we talk more about the kind of services or products, through that, companies actually create impact, because that is very important. Without that, we cannot reach to the mass. The brand awareness of that company. And society level, it increases public understanding, it drives policy changes, it encourages informed decision making. To explain this column, I will give you a very simple example, which we all know. COVID and RT-PCR. Today, you go out on the road and you ask anybody RT-PCR, they will know this term. They might not know what it is, but they know, every Tom, Dick, Harry knows that, okay, if you have a COVID, then you must do it. If it's a positive test, it's COVID. If it is not, then, okay, you are safe. So how did this happen? It happened with immense kind of communication. Now, whether it is misinformation or good information, let's not get into that debate. But today, that every people know, even my mom knows, my grandmother knows, everybody knows what is RT-PCR. So it actually changed the whole scenario. Just think that if nobody knew what is this thing, if no information was shared about it, nothing was communicated, I personally have a doubt in mind that whether people would have taken vaccination programs happily like the way we did, and we faced the challenge of the pandemic. So that is the most important impact of strategic communication. And of course, scientists are the people who can tell their work the best, because personally, I believe that any influencer can talk about what you are doing. That is a very good thing. But the person, as a scientist, back in the mind, you know the crux of things. So more scientists come up speaking about their work, it is the best thing to do. And just to give you a checklist of your strategic plan, if you're trying to start, of course, you create different types of impactful content. For example, if it is a research paper that you are publishing, I think it is a good idea to replace long, lengthy, or even structured or unstructured abstracts with graphical abstract. That's a trend that we have seen. We all know about it. Those kind of papers get cited most than compared to any other. Secondly, coming to non-scientific way of content, like you can create infographics, you can create videos or blogs, because we are living in a fantastic era today when it comes to digital technologies. And I think we, as scientists or researchers or academicians, we should make best use of it, because even 5 years back, 4 years back, there was not such a hype which we have today, not so much of reach which we have today. And definitely, I would request that you use the digital platforms. Personally, I prefer LinkedIn. It's a fantastic platform. It has a lot of strengths in it. And for professional upliftment, talking about science, communicating is the best platform to use. This is my personal perspective. You can always use X and other platforms like ResearchGate. And of course, build your research narrative, your story out of your fantastic work that you are doing. So with that, I will just make an end note quoting Sir Mark Walpole. I personally believe this very much, that science isn't finished until it is communicated. So I hope I could share some perspective which was useful to you. And thank you so much for once again for giving me this opportunity. And it was fantastic experience for me to make a transition from a participant of Metabolomics India to be speaking on this August audience, in front of an August audience, and such a rich panel of speakers. Thank you, and thank you, Bijon, for this opportunity.